young woman. I'm here with the amazing Odette Peek. If you came to one of our Fearless Summits in Canada, she spoke at a number of them. How are you today, Odette?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. And Odette, you're always so wonderful to hear at our Fearless Summits, not just you, but also the women you have coached. We've had so many of the women that you have coached speak on the stage, and I'm always so excited to hear them because I just know you have the most professional training out there and just how women can deliver such powerful messages. So let's talk a little bit how you got into speaking in the first place.
Well, I had a business back in the 90s, like, a whole bunch of years ago when I was 27 years old. And it was Canada's recession. And I had this great idea for a business. And everyone thought, you don't know what you're doing. You're 27, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, how do I get the word out there about what I'm doing? And my market was the real estate industry. And very, very hard target market to have them sit down and listen to you, let alone, they're not going to give you much time because they're super busy. And I realized that, I got to get up in front of as many real estate agents as I can at one time. And I thought, I'm going to do these little office presentations is what I called it. And I literally had no more than 5 minutes. So I went around, the Toronto area, I went to all of the real estate agents' offices and did these little 5-minute presentations with my easel because there was no internet or PowerPoint that I was able to do. And started to build my business by speaking to the one-to-many platform. And in about 5 years, that business was a 7-figure business. And just as a toot my own horn here, 4 years later, whatever it is, it's an international company and it's really amazing. I did sell it. So part of me is like, darn. But from that platform, I decided I'm going to be a coach to teach other entrepreneurs how to grow their business. Now, interestingly enough, I didn't start with speaking because I didn't realize that that's what got me super successful in that business. I never classified it as speaking. I just thought I'm just doing office presentations. And in the first year of my coaching business, the real story of what I started to share, several years later, which I share on your stage, is my significant relationship ended. I got the whole, we need to talk conversation. And both of my parents fell, they broke a hip, and they both died within a couple of months of each other. And so my future was gone, my past was gone, and I was left with my present. And in the present moment, I was so stressed out, developed thoracic outlet syndrome, and had 2 pinched nerves in my neck, and developed this acute paralysis in my upper body. So I couldn't move, just everything was not, personally was just a disaster that first year of business. And so what I did was, instead of sharing my story with people, I held my story in because I was too afraid to tell people what was really going on for me, because I thought they're not going to like me, they're not going to want to buy from me, they're not going to think I'm strong and powerful and all these things. So I held it in until I met a story coach, and she said, Odette, you have such a great story. You have to tell people the story. And I decided just before a webinar, had her coach me for a couple of hours to convince me to do my story, taught me how to do it, and did my webinar, told my story for the very first time. The next day I woke up and I'm on my banking, doing my banking, and I phoned my assistant, oh my God, there's all this money in the account. What the heck? Something's wrong, something happened. Tell me. She goes, dummy, you did a webinar and people signed up for it. Some people paid in full. You've got some people doing payment plans. I'm like, really? And that's when it hit me that the power of your story is so important that you need to share it with the world. And it's not just to make money, but it's to make a difference in the world. It's to grow your business. And a byproduct of growing your business is making money. So it was a win-win for everybody. So that's how I fell into teaching entrepreneurs how to speak.
I love it. And I think that's why it's been such a good fit for our Fearless Summits, because that's what we want women to do, is to be able to share their own fearless stories and the impact that our own stories have on the world. Like when you can reach an audience and a woman now sitting in that audience says, oh my gosh, that's me too. Or, that's happened to me, or it's okay to do what I love to do, or what's in my heart, or just the excitement that happens. And I've watched you be mobbed after you speak, just in terms of how you reach women and really be able to, touch them. And that's the thing, is that, some people can just speak and talk about their business or talk about how everything's perfect and amazing and wonderful and all that kind of stuff. But I think that it's being vulnerable and telling our truth that really moves an audience. Is that
absolutely? Yeah. So it's about speaking from the soul, and I call it your soul story. And your soul story is the very essence of who you are. It's your inner sense of meaning and purpose. And our lives are made up of a lot of experiences that I call your soul story moments. And when you share your soul story moments with people, you're coming from that place of that the heart and the soul. And when people are hearing it and you're sharing it with an audience, they get to be inspired and motivated, and they're growing from their inner sense of meaning and purpose as well, because you're tapping into that place, as opposed to the place up here, which is the intellectual content driven stuff, which is great. But here's what moves people. Here's what motivates people. Here's how you have people buy into you, because they need to buy into you first before they're going to even buy anything from you. So it's your soul story. And then all the other 17,000 stories that you've got, even the one that could be when you're driving to a speaking engagement, something happened. You're like, man, did you know what just happened to me today? I mean, it's about how to be able to pull the story out as you need it and be able to share it with an audience that inspires and motivates them to take action, whatever action that looks like.
Absolutely. That's for sure. You've been doing this a long time, coaching so many people right around the world in terms of how to do this. And what do you find that people's biggest challenges when it comes to sharing their own stories that you really help them to overcome?
Well, they go, I have so many stories, I don't know which one to pick. Or they say, I know my story and I'll just go and tell it. And I'm like, yeah, but how are you telling it? Because the delivery of it is really important. Who wants to hear my story? My story's not worth it. All the, the negative mindset stuff. So I have a very specific process in uncovering all of the stories. And I have literally people go through their life year by year to find what is the emotional theme that is driving you to who you are today. And how you know what that theme is when you just take a look at, what am I really afraid of right now? Well, often it's the I'm not good enough. Who do I think I am? I can't, et cetera, et cetera. That comes from all of your experiences. And we've made when you take a look at, when you dissect your stories, you dissect your life, where that story came from, the core of the story, you're able to dissect the core of the story so that you can change the emotional driver of your life to, I am amazing, I am powerful, I am enough. And that's the place that where we change the world, not from the place of fear. So it's how to uncover the story and then how to share the story in a way that moves people emotionally. A lot of people are afraid to move the audience emotionally because they're maybe afraid to cry on stage or whatever. And emotion is where people are motivated. They're not motivated by the intellectual content that you're teaching. They're going to forget all of that anyways. It's the story that resonates. So I spoke on your stage in Toronto a couple of years ago, and about 6 months ago, someone said, oh my gosh, I saw her in the airport in Florida. And I didn't really recognize her. She goes, oh my God, I saw you speak a few years ago, and it was just, you inspired me, you motivated me. And I'm like, typical celebrity story, right? You're in an airport and you're stalked by someone who remembers you. She goes, your story was just so powerful. She didn't say to me, oh my God, the content that you taught was just so awesome. She said, your story. So that's what we need to lead with. And then we can get into what is it that we're teaching people.
Yeah, absolutely. And how you make people feel. Because I think that's
right.
True is, if you think back of even going to school and you think of what you remembered from like whatever it was, but you'll always remember that teacher that really made a difference, that story that they told, those things that really impact your life and shaped you as a person and as an individual, and really make you look at your own life and your own moments. And that's what I love about what you teach is every speaker that I've heard that have been coached by you is you really teach them as to how to share themselves and how to connect that with their audience so that you really get to know that person and the things that you can relate to and those common grounds that really pull you to make that human connection, which I think that's what we're all always looking for and seeking, as we look for our own passions and purpose and, why we're all here, and I think it's the most powerful way to do that is through speaking. But I think you hit the nail on the head where lots of times it's that confidence piece, especially for women, as to get up on that stage and who am I and is people going to listen and all those kind of things. And but that you really help guide and help women walk to that other side where they can be powerful, dynamic speakers and that they can actually do this for a living. You do this for a living and you've taught a lot of speakers to also that they can do this for a living, correct?
Yeah. Absolutely. I believe that the fastest way that you can make money and make it, make a difference in the world, but, create that income that you want is by speaking to the one-to-many platform. And yes, there's times that you have to pay to play. You got to pay to be on someone's stage. Times that everyone wants to get paid to speak. I know that's really super sexy, but that's an option as well. But also how to just speak for free and how to make money. And that's where the selling from the stage part really comes into play. And I know at your events, there is no selling from the stage, but you can offer free gifts, one of my free gifts has always been the how big is your butt? Learn the 7 ways you sabotage your own success. And it's just a way to get people engaged, to take a little bit of you home with them so that they can get to know, like, and trust you in the comfort of their own home at their own time. And they're being nurtured by you with other, if you're sending them out information on a regular basis, the selling, whatever, the relationship doesn't end when the talk ends. So you need to be able to nurture them ongoing. I mean, I get clients from gigs that I did years ago, but I've stayed in their world, and they're like, yeah, I'm finally ready to hire you, or whatever, or you've changed their life, even if it's the free stuff that you've given away. That's really important. And at some point, the money starts to roll in. Can I share a really quick story about a 2-minute gig? So a couple of years, well, not a couple. So this is probably 2014, maybe. Yeah, no, 2013. I went to a friend's she's now a friend of mine, to a networking event. I didn't know anybody. And she says, Odette, we don't know you. Can you jump up in front of the room and just tell us who you are and what you do? And you got 2 minutes and get off the stage, right? I'm like, okay, scared out of my mind. I start writing on a cocktail napkin in pen, which is the paper's ripping. And I'm like, how hard can this be, right? But I was so scared. And it's at a noisy bar. It was at the Milestones bar. And I jump up in front of the room and I try to be all confident. And I'm like, hi, my name's Odette, and I'm a coach for entrepreneurs to teach them how to create better mindset, their marketing, speaking, etc. You know what? I don't know anyone here. I'd love to get to know you. Can you come up and talk to me so that we can get to know each other? So that was my crazy wild call to action, was just to get people to come and talk to me. And that night I closed about $20,000 in sales, like people buying my stuff on the spot. I sold some books, but I sold programs and private coaching. And what was really amazing as well was there was a lady who does events in the Toronto area, like really big events. And she said, something about you. I'd love to talk to you about speaking at my event. I'm like, all right. Didn't know who she was. And had a meeting with her. She hired me to be the keynote speaker. There was about 700 people at that event. Scared out of my mind, really. Did the event and made about $100,000 at her event. And then, so the rest is history. All from a 2-minute gig that I wasn't prepared for. I didn't know what the heck I was saying, but I had a call to action. I just shared who I was in 2 minutes or less. So it's about the impact that you're going to create by being powerful, even if you're faking it in the front of the room. And that's what I teach people, is that you can make a lot of money in a 2-minute talk and a 5-minute talk. It doesn't have to be those fantastic 45-minute keynotes that you get paid for.
Right. Yeah. And it's building those relationships and looking at those opportunities as to, meeting people, like you said, even offering gifts and, being able to connect and keep connecting, because that's the thing, is that it's not always necessarily the first time somebody sees you, but maybe as time goes on and they maybe participate in some webinars or other things, your newsletter, whatever, they really get to know you and they have that connection in terms of, this is the person who I need to coach me, or when they're ready in their own lives to make that step.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So true. Very true. So the workshop that you offer through our One Woman Empowerment Academy is Make Money Speaking. And that's the thing, is that whether you want to be a professional speaker or whether it's through what you do for your business or for your company, whatever the case is that you can use speaking as a tool and a platform to be able to generate income to create that successful business or to build your business. So maybe talk a little bit about what the program entails and what people can learn and get from it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the program teaches you sort of the 3 main areas. Number 1 is how to uncover your soul story and what stories to share in a talk. So I teach people how to write one signature talk, and it's a short talk. Now, the reason why I'm doing training on a short talk, because the shortest talks are the hardest to write, but the short talks are everywhere. So the 5-10 minute talk, they're all over all over the world. You provide that space for us as well. And it's how to be able to say what you need to say in a really short amount of time so that you make a huge amount of impact and you can make money. Then it's how to take that short talk and build out a 45-minute talk, a half-day workshop, a one-day event, a two-day event. Even my 3-day events are from the beating heart of a 5-minute talk that I wrote. It's the same stuff. I just extend it and fill it with a lot of other stuff. So I teach you how to decide what stories to teach and what is it based, and it's based on what you want to be teaching. So I like to boil it down to sort of 3, maybe 5 key elements of what you're going to be teaching your audience. Because the content part ultimately is the least important, because people don't really remember it, but people want to be intellectually stimulated as well. So you're creating that journey with them. Story is emotional, the content is the intellectual piece. And as entrepreneurs or as people, we like to tick off boxes. Oh my God, that's point number 1. That's point number 2. That's point number 3. And it really keeps you succinct with your talk. So the second element is, what is that marketing message that you wanted to solve? So it's, what is the pain that you are solving for people? And the third element is the call to action or selling from the front of the room. That's how you make the money. So there's a whole process on how to sell free stuff, how to build your list, how to sell a $50 program or a $30,000 program. And it is possible. I did a 3-day event last year, and it was a very small retreat. I had 18 people, and I made over $250,000 from selling in front of the room for 18 people. And a year later, I'm still making money from some of those people because they keep buying more stuff. So it's how to be able to position yourself as an expert using the power of your story, the content that you teach. You're doing the pain to solution bridge, and then how to be able to sell from the front of the room that feels authentic to you and authentic to your audience. Because as soon as you've got to make an offer, people go, oh my God, I'm so scared. So I teach you how to do it seamlessly throughout your talk so it feels really good, and it's super exciting when you actually make money. So yeah, you can make anything from, from nothing to hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s in your business. So the sky's the limit.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest part that most women struggle with, is that sales piece. I think that you probably find that in most of your workshops and things.
Yeah.
That's where women are going to feel the least comfortable. But the fact that it's like somebody needs what you have, like you're basically robbing the world of your gifts by not putting it out there. And that's the thing, is that, putting that into perspective, I think is so important to teach women as to, you should be paid for the gifts, and that you can make a living doing what you love and to help people and all that stuff, and I think that that's a struggle for a lot of women. And I love that you help women do that so well, and to be able to share their gifts and turn that into a business if they want to, as opposed to feeling like they always have to give it away.
Well, absolutely. And, then you're not for profit, or then you're just broke, right? So here, everyone has a gift that someone else out in the world needs to know about. And why shouldn't you make money? So, some people have said, well, selling, talking about your story and then selling, that seems so out of alignment. And like, why? What's the mindset around that? So the key thing here is that you've got something that you survived. And it doesn't have to be a big trauma thing, but you survived a pain in your life. If you have the pain, someone else has the pain, and they don't know how to do it. So you've got to be able to offer that to them, and being rewarded with payment. That's the way the world works nowadays. Thousands of years ago, you might barter your shoes for building a house. That's just not the way the world works anymore. Now it's about payment of money. Yeah,
exactly. And entrepreneurship, like, I think it's the way that, the world is changing, is through, innovative businesses and what you can do online now, and that there's just so many more opportunities that's available, especially if you want to do that full-time or part-time, like, I just think it's a great way to be able to share your gifts and to be able to be paid, as opposed to going to a job you hate every single day. You're not happy with, it doesn't fulfill you, you don't feel like you're living your purpose, and knowing that you can live your purpose and create an income in the life of your dreams by doing it. So
absolutely.
Absolutely. Awesome. So tell us about all the other ways that, I always think that the Empowerment Academy is kind of a good way for women to be able to learn those skills, to get introduced to your work. And we always connect whoever takes the workshop with the instructors, so that they can learn about the other stuff that you do, because you have other things. You do individual coaching. you offer
Yep.
workshops. You're getting into doing retreats. So let's talk about some of the other
Yeah.
ways that people can work with you as well, Odette.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have, if people want to work privately is the fastest way to get your business up and running. And an online program is great. Like the program that I offer, there is a little bit of personal time with me. But for people that are really serious and want to rock their business, let's say, 2020, they want to hit six figures or multiple six figures, or maybe even seven figures. You've got to be a great speaker. And you can be an okay speaker that's going to get you so far, but you have to be a great speaker. There's just way too much competition out there. So I work privately with people one-to-one, either in longer programs like 6 months or a year, or I do VIP sessions where we just write your talk. So instead of you writing it, I actually write it with you. I do it very intuitively. And you're basically having the talk written by me. And I take out all the weird emotions that you've got when you have to write your own talk. And then from there, we create online programs from your talk. We create your programs and your packages. So we build out an entire business based on what I call the beating heart of your business, and that is your talk. And why is it? Because you've got all the stories, you've got the pain to solution content that you're going to be teaching, and then I teach you how to sell, which is really, really important. So one-to-one is a fabulous way to have that accountability, and to there's about the strategy. You get a strategy, then it's about the course correction as you're implementing the strategy. It's a mouthful, which is really important, because when you're out there doing it, we get a little funky brain going on, and having a coach in your back pocket is always really helpful. I do have other little programs that can help with marketing, with messaging, and then I do also coaching on demand. If you just want an hour with me, happy to do that, and then we can see where we go from there. Yeah, so lots of options.
Yes, absolutely. And we just want to let people know about that, because that's the thing, is that, we always have the Empowerment Academy workshops where women can learn at their leisure. They're all pre-recorded, and, and then women can connect with those speakers, but also that if women are really looking, we're going into the new year, and, I know there's a lot of women out there who have big goals and really want to turn speaking into a profession. And like you said, sometimes the best way to do that is to hire a coach, that if you don't have those skills yourself and you really want those, hire the person to help you do it.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, and I also do just starting to do more retreats. Now I've done a lot of 1 day or 2 day events, 3 day events, working on that as well, sort of reconfiguring what that looks like. But what I really found is that when you take yourself out of your own element, your own environment, and you submerge for a week inside of a retreat, true deep transformation happens. And we all need healing, let's face it. We're all just needing some healing and some growth. When you can take yourself out of your current space, and so that you can focus 100% on you and your business, then everything changes for you. The one thing that I learned in 2019 is that you can have great marketing, great strategy, but if the inside of you is all messed up and jumbled, then it's just a reflection on what that's going to be like for your business. So the retreats that I'm doing are much more deep dive personal retreats, taking a look at your past story, healing from your past story, and recreating and writing a new story for, in this case, 2020 or 2021, whatever that looks like for you. And it's very magical when you're able to step into that space.
Yeah, I agree. I watched you on Facebook in terms of, going through that process yourself and how transformational it is. And I've been through it myself. That's how one woman began, was going to Ecuador and unplugging from my life. And if I wouldn't have had that opportunity and taken that to do that for myself, this would have never happened. And it's how I found my true passion and purpose. So I know how powerful that can be. So thank you for offering those to women, because I encourage people to take advantage of that. It's hard to figure things out when you're stuck in the regular, the kids, the work, the job, the business, the everything. It's hard to get any kind of clarity or perspective when you're stuck with so much stuff. Yeah,
absolutely.
Awesome. Any final thoughts, Odette, as we kind of wrap up, that you wanted women to know, whether it's about you, whether it's the program, whether it's about speaking, whether it's about life, whatever the case might be?
Yeah, sure. So, when you look at someone, when you see a program or see somebody on Facebook, or you see somebody doing something that you want to do and you're not there yet, it is really important to make that investment. It's time, energy, and money investment. You can get a lot of stuff for free, but that's not a real investment in yourself. It's like you have to part with money in order to have some skin in the game. And that's the same with the people that you want to have them hire you. So if you want to make money as a business owner, I believe that everybody needs to have a coach. And I'm not saying that has to be me, but you have to have a coach, because they're going to see your blind spots and hopefully call you on them. And if you want to grow your business exponentially, you have to do it by speaking. All that online sitting behind your computer stuff will only get you so far. You've got to get out in the real world. You've got to be speaking, and you got to be speaking online as well, and use that as the foundation for your business, because it's the beating heart. The message is the beating heart of your business. And then you don't have to be reinventing the wheel all the time. Create one talk, make that investment in yourself, because when you spend money on the internal learning for you, everything else changes. So that's the thing that I learned. I learned it the hard way. And it's really fantastic. So decide, what do you want 2020 to be like, or 2021 or 2020, whatever it is for you, but make the investment and then do the work. And I promise you, everything will change for you.
Absolutely. So true. Take the leap and just trust and have that faith, because you don't want to be another year being in the same place, same things. Gosh, one day I would have, could have, those kind of things. Like make a decision and just go for it, and get the person and the people who you need and the team behind you to really make it happen, because we're meant to be connected and to get the help and advice that you need, just like each of us is going to build that and grow that and do that for ourselves as well. We're learning that. We're learning skills so that we can do that as well. So yeah, that's great.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to put up on the screen all of Odette's contact information, in terms of if you want to work with Odette in terms of coaching, her upcoming retreats. We're going to connect you to her website. It'll have her contact information to connect with her team to learn more about anything that you might want to get involved with. And of course, the link that if you want to sign up for Make Money Speaking, you can do that at your leisure, in terms of the pre-recorded videos, which is kind of nice. I know people are busy, but it gives you the opportunity to also connect with Odette and learn more about speaking and sharing your story with the world, and speak on a fearless stage. We'd love to have you. So I want to thank everybody for watching and tuning in today. Be sure to keep watching more on One Woman as we talk to more amazing women from right around the world. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye.
Ciao. Bye.